Hey, how's everybody? How's everybody? Comprehendo? Did you do it? Did you do it? He said. Did you do it? Or are you needing something else? A few tissues for your tears. How are you guys doing? Good to be with you. Good to be with you. Let's speak at the mic. Mobile showroom. Wearing my silver fedora. Thanks for the love, Francis. Looking forward to becoming a paying member from the crypto gains over the following months. Says first name, last name. Yes, action currently in the metals. A little uncertain about the cryptos, me, at the moment. Bitcoin is masturbating whilst the precious metals are trotting. Let's move that over there. Stand in the middle of my mic. Yes, indeed. And wow, silver is the boss. All silver-related assets just flying. Long-term investor in silver, long-term investor in silver equities, long-term investor in silver ETFs, long-term investor in even GDXJ, gold juniors and silver juniors. So what a great day. Options, derivatives, leverage. Oh dear. Okay. So yeah, great day. I'll dispense with the hat because it's nice and warm in here. How are you guys doing? Third, he says, Jared Caval. Great Twitter posts. Look at the pick. Yes, just up picked more 50 ounces of silver, says Daniel OJ. Good man. Keep stacking them an ounce at a time. Johan Botha, how are you there? Johan, hope all's well. Back in the States of RSA. How long before we go live? We are live now. 121 of you, by the way. That's awesome. Let's pump the numbers up. Hit a share, one share. If you bought silver and at some point you heard me shilling for it, if you want to call it shilling, I don't consider it shilling. I considered it a value, an obvious investment. As well as silver-based equities that are moving. Wow, calls bought well out the money are now through at the money and in the money. That is a great feeling when those options start ticking from being out of the action to in the action to deep into the money. Hello from Quebec, Canada, says Morin Investor. How are you? Welcome to Quebec and Canada. Almost $20, says Tommy 777. And this is the important part, guys. Silver's a slow starter. It's an exponential mover. So you may recall we made a big call and we said 128 was the high for the gold silver ratio. We were already calling you to be wading in on all silvers, calling bearish patterns on the silver gold ratio. I'm just doing a face stream today. I'm not doing a technical stream. We're keeping it simple. I just thought I'd say hi and check in. 52 likes, 154 of you. That's great. Thank you for the shares. No ads on this channel. You may buy a Market Sniper t-shirt if you like, or coffee mug. It's absolutely optional. And anyway, so gold and silver has turned the ratio. Looking at the charts while I'm talking to you, is fascinating. I've actually got the dollar index, and you may also recall that we said after the dollar fake break at the top and down, that actually we could see the dollar index going down anywhere between the 92s and 94s. And bear in mind, we're only at 95.82 so far. So that could be a lot more weakness to come. It's in a neat little channel. My premium guys know exactly how it looks on the dollar index and our calls. We have scenario casts for that. So once dollar wasn't ready to run, and they've done that amazing little, by the way, did you guys see dollar against the Turkish lira? You want to see a fake out little peg? Go have a look at that story. Clearly it's about the Turks and not letting that lira get too disorderly. Wait till when the dollar strength comes back. We'll be coming for that undeclared peg that they're trying to create there on the Turkish lira. Yes, indeed. And the emergings will start falling out of bed in a big way. I mean, the best trade is your emerging market currencies versus gold. Of the big nations, the Australian dollar wanted to be one of the first rippers there. on the smaller nation, third worldy emergings, South African rand, Turkish lira, Brazilian real, Indian rupee. I'm afraid those BRICS. They're all going to absolutely wet the bed relative to gold, because they're going to have to print, and they're going to have to pay back all these debts and swap lines, or at least make an attempt to, which is going to see shortage of dollars. So eventually the dollar will firm up and will actually be an upside HVF in our view. And then you'll have the dollar going up and gold and silver going up. Imagine how fast it'll be going up against the failing emergings when that happens. South Africans should be buying their gold. Brazilians should be buying their silver, and that of Mexico and Peru. Indians should do what they've always done, stack that yellow metal, because real money is going to be real money. Keep it, hide it, don't tell anybody. The government's probably going to ban it. This reset global world order that is coming with this rushed through experimental vaccine to spike into your body systems that has DNA affecting outcomes, never been done before, according to a certain doctor. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Well, in that realm, I wouldn't surprise me if they try to make it illegal to own precious metals and have you bring it all in so that they could reestablish the global world order. Good luck with that, you little government bastards. And by the way, you're gonna have a lot of holes to have to dig if you want to find where my stuff is. And who knows, I might have sold it on just before you arrive. So dollar index looking soft. It's the weakest of the lot. Pound is actually in an upside HVF to the dollar, but never mind pound to the dollar. You never mind even gold to the dollar, which is also an upside HVF. The silver is the king, and the silver gold ratio is turning harsh. So let's have a little update for you. We called 128 the high, and we were shorting the gold silver ratio by being doubly long silver against gold, which we were bullish of. Let's pull up that chart and give you the update on the gold silver ratio that absolutely killed it on a type 2 rising wedge pop out to the top. 128 it made on its all-time high. Where stand he now? Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look and give you the latest and greatest. 91.34, well through the 100 level, guys. Your chance to be buying silver when silver was requiring over 100 ounces to buy a single ounce of gold is gone. It took 128 at one point. You're now sub. And was it a spiller? It spilled from 95 to 91. Beautiful broadening pattern there for those that watch in my community. By the way, links below. If you really want to be properly invested for this reset cycle, you want to be with people that are consistently getting the big calls right. A little bit in between on Bitcoin, got to be honest. Not comfortable with its masturbatory habits when gold and silver are doing this. It should be out jogging as well. A little bit of a concern that when this rests, it could be our down leg that to come. Having said it should be going up. It's just not responded with gold and silver so far. But we'll keep an eye on that. This is about gold and silver today. And boy, what a lad it's been. Click on the links, go to the site, book a call, get started, come and join the community. And we also stress investing as well as trading. You need those three pots. You need your hot pot, you need your lukewarm medium pot, and you need that cold pot, which is just unleveraged stacking. Unleveraged stacking of silver. I've had a bullion vault account since 2007. I saw the whole bear through. I've had a negative P&L for about 9 years. When I say a negative P&L, I'm talking about just the fundamental assessment that silver is going to have its day, that I'd keep accumulating it, even though most times it was getting cheaper, whilst trading it short on leverage. So it was quite interesting. I don't think it was that long ago it went positive. Now it's screaming positive. And that's one rare exception when I would say the P&L was worth ignoring. Why? Because they are proliferators. All they know is to proliferate. There are no other tools. And boy, are they going to proliferate like never before. And boy, is this guy going to move. And a 7-8 year bear cycle of nibbling and buying and accumulating both physically and in online is going to pay. And that doubling down into the bear market is going to pay. That turning trade profits from your lukewarm pot into your investment pot will pay, because when it runs, it will run with your scale all the way up, and it'll charge like a wounded buffalo. And we were saying on a trading level recently that you could get in your leverage on silver. We made a target, it set up a head and shoulders type structure and just rocketed. So it respected the progress decay. There's absolutely no reversals in sight. I want to tell you that gold is in an upside HVF on an hourly time frame against the dollar. That's going to keep going up. That's going to absolutely drive the silver even higher, even faster. It's going to continue spilling. That target on the hourly is 1836. That's a small one. Don't forget, we've reminded you countless times of the euro and the GBP gold, which all have the better part of 80 odd euro, 75 odd pounds still to run, just to make target. And there's scope for it to overshoot a wee bit. And that, of course, is best played with silver. So you can start winding back your leverage silver longs on the making of those targets, gold, euro. For those of you that are here, I'll even shout it out for you again. I think it was 1686, 1687 euro. Okay, 1686, 87 euro. We're only at 1588. You still got 100 euro to go. And by the way, this has also formed the gold euro has formed an additional structure that actually sees us revise that target. This is something new. If it does what I think it may do, we're going to run into the 1700s. In other words, we're getting what we call a wind-up pattern, potentially. That's going to boost the target. You can learn more about how we do this and these draws. If it feels right, consider a call in our community. Go to the links below. So if I just put that roughly in the middle, that's pointing well into the 1720s. Euros. Remember that. So at the moment, the euro USD, the euro is climbing against the USD. Everything's climbing against the USD. The USD is being killed. The trillion swap lines are being flushed through. Creation of money. Who'd have thought it? Yes, it has that effect. Strikes at 10 on the Majestic, bought out of the money. Now 1163 on First Majestic. That is AG. That's right, First Majestic Mines. Beautiful, stretchy little day today. 1164 trading. Nicely indeed. Leverage to the gold and leverage to the silver ratio. My apologies, to the silver price, not the silver ratio. So looking really good there. That is First Majestic. Then you get the likes of PAAS, Pan American, also suiting us fine indeed. Some of these are set up. AG is set up in a monthly, big time frame, huge time frame, large target, upside HVFs. And we are stacked with calls. You could be in this position too. And this is just the beginning for those of you who think it's over. PAAS was at the capitulation bedwet lows of the COVID-19. COVID-19, as Jeff Berwick, he loves that one little clip. He loves the cranky guy. He goes, COVID-19. He pulls a face like this. It's kind of weird. It's almost worth watching his videos just for that. Support the man for a bit of truth and news. 11, you traded 1085 on Pan American Silver Corp. 1085 at the COVID scamdemic low. 35.69, storming on 36. You've got a 3x right there. If you'd had the balls to pull the trigger on calls at that dip, I did on one of them. I'd already committed some funds, so I rode it into the red on some calls. I grabbed some more, not on PAAS. I did those on Majestic. But wow, if I'd had enough to put on different equities, I don't want to have I don't like too many tiny positions. First Majestic's a great mine. So is PAAS. But you could have jumped in. You could have got sub 11, and it's heading for 36. Wow, wow, wow. 3 times that. You could have bought out of the money calls at about 14 or 15. For those of you who don't understand options, puts and calls, you just could have gotten long on your spread bet or on your trader with margin. If you were using Scandinavian Capital Markets, some of you have opened accounts but forgotten to fund them. Don't forget to fund them. Lots of guys have taken up the opportunity. 100x. I've got a SCM. You can buy tens of thousands of ounces with just over $1,000 margin, guys. And this thing ain't finished. That doesn't mean you should blow money management rules. You should watch out. Remember all of these aspects. But when you have gold being strong, silver killing in gold on the gold-silver ratio and set up to go, and the dollar weak, my goodness. Let me tell you what comes next. When the dollar's done going weak, it starts getting firm and the FX emerging start dying again. It starts going up, the dollar, and gold and silver continue to go up in rising dollars. Man, oh man, that is going to be the absolute napalm moments. You're going to smell it in the air. You're going to watch silver stocks go up 10x, 15x. You're going to realize that there were crypto markets long before there were crypto markets, when you had small cap silver equities in a major bull run. And this is a bull run to end all bull runs, peoples. I can't see them not printing 25 to 50 trillion globally. I can't see them not doing 50 trillion globally by the time this is over. They've dropped trillions just in the opening salvo. They've still got to pay for all these pharma companies. They got all their poisons that they're going to tell you should have. They've still going to, every country is going to be doing it. China's got to get fully in it. There's going to be another 5 trillion in America soon, 3 here. Bailout payments. They're going to go full-blown UBI, more UBI payments. Here's a little bit of money for you. You can have some money. You can have some money. You can have some money. Everybody must live. We love everybody. Black lives matter. All of them matter except the white peoples with the blue eyes. Everybody matters. Everybody gets some money. Money, printing the money. Printing the money. That's what they're going to do. It's what they're going to do. It's what they're going to do. And it is going to be stagflationary at first, rolling potentially to hyperinflation. That's the next thing that's going to happen. Food costs, you're going to start noticing in your food bill. You're going to start noticing your energy and your food bill, guys. I'm afraid prices are going to start moving because they're going to be a printing. And you're going to get caught in that stagflation, unless, of course, you're making tons more anyway, because you're using your capital, you're leveraged long, and you're in a community who knows how to trade the reset that's been coming for the better part of my entire life, which has crystallized and saw me set up this community from 2009 and the collapse of the 08-09. You can see how this is going to go down. Let's see what the people say and refer back to the comments. There will be some milkshake in time, but first the dollar she die. That properly gets that silver chart going. Yes, and by the way, when you look at that silver weekly chart, as someone's referring to there, it looks like Bolinix. When you get that silver weekly chart, I need to remind you how far behind gold it is and how quick it's got to do catch up and why it's going to do 3x, 5x faster than gold, who of itself is going to do pretty nicely. The key reason is gold is already past. There was a descending triangle when it made 1927 and it thrashed around and it had a kind of descending triangle. Those of you may or may not know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm just drawing with the hands here. This is charting light. Let's just call it charting light. The 1550 level was the bottom of your triangle. Gold has pumped past that. It is actually at the second highest monthly close ever of its months. And the month ain't finished. We're on the 20th day of the 7th month. And in fact, if you look at the highest close of the month, you are bearing down on it. The highest close of the ultimate $1,927 high, the month actually closed at $1,827. Right now you trade 18.18, $9 lower than the all-time highest monthly close on gold. And you rode it through with Mr. Sniper. This is historic events. I'm looking at a big cup, a parabolic, a big cup, and a lip coming almost as high. The green line that we are trading at right now is at 18.18, and that little bit of green above it is the 18.27 close. That was August 2011. Gentlemen of the jury, I give you this as data to record. That is better part of nearly 10 years ago. You're around, down, and back again. And let me say, from here on in, I see only one way. Because every time you hear about Powell, a central banker, a UBI bleater, some fakeoid politician, some bullshit Bilderberg Pratt, some crabby little CFR mongrel that's talking about socialism, Marxism, Black Lives Matter, money for nothing, your chicks for free, stay at home, we pay you to be bone idle. It's time to break any meaningful existence of capitalism as brought to you by your Mossad Bolshevik commies that usually like to commit mass genocide every time they inflict their Bolshevism. Hence why maybe if you study your history on Russia and how many people died there, you should be pretty suspicious about the global Bolshevism coming, because if they can kill 20 million in Russia alone of white European Orthodox Christians, boy, I could hate to think when they globalize this, how many people they'll kill, and they won't all be just white either. So careful out there, careful out there. But on the shinier side, every time you hear all of that, every time you hear all of that nonsense, and you grit your teeth at the end of real honest work of something value added, a proper service provided, that someone's agreed and price discovery mechanisms to pay, every time you hear them with all their bastardizations of Bolshevism, recognize that the only way they can do all these lies and corruption and perversions that they are putting forward is by printing and proliferating, which by definition will continue to make you wealthier as a major silver gold holder, even if you are just scraping the ounces together right now. Every time you hear it, buy yourself a silver ounce, whether it be a buffalo, a kangaroo. Every time you hear a Bolshevik say UBI, every time you hear quantitative easing, every time you hear bailouts for junk bonds, can you get it? That's one still irks me. I should have 100% hit rate for doubling, tripling, and quadrupling my options, but for my HYG, which should have fallen through the floor. But no, the savior came to save junk. Yes, no more junk. The Fed will be the buyer of failed, high-valued, high-risk debt with huge coupon rates. That's right. Spoiling my 100% ratio, but thank you. It didn't spoil the day. It's only spoiled a single trade idea. But who knows? They may still regret that one, and they may slip a little. But we did say XAG. We did say buy it. We did say this gold-silver ratio turned, and we were the first to say it. We're the ones that have bored you to tears with gold and silver analysis, and most importantly, ratio analysis, and said we've had to pop out the top type 2 rising wedge. You don't know what a type 2 rising wedge is. You need to find out. You need to get educated. Is that a nice word? You need to grow and advance your technical knowledge. Type 2, blow off out the top, and then reverse rising wedge. That is what we have. So what saith the men? UBI and deferral of payment of taxes. UBIs for the weak. Do not give up your independence and your own ability to generate your own alpha and your own earnings. The minute they hook you on UBI and you stop doing what you're doing and you get fat and you get lazy, 414, 415 of you right now. Give us a share, no ads on this channel, putting you in silver before anybody else, calling the reversal of the gold-silver ratio before anybody else, keeping it in the forefront of your mind because you subscribe to this channel before anybody else, so that you can come out wealthier when the absolute Bolshevik bastards destroy the fiat currencies with their ever ranting, rambling, scammy little ruses that they're going to perpetuate on everybody. That's it, facts. That's it, folks. Those are the facts. We're getting you in silver, and you're starting to see it pay. And let me just warn for those that think, damn, I'm missing this game. You ain't missing nothing yet. The ship is just properly winding up those turbo hydrofoils. It's about to stand up out the water on those skis, and it's about to go skating across the Mediterranean and right around this planet so fast it's going to flip and overtake Elon Musk's fake car floating in space on its way to Mars. Let me tell you, that's how early in the trip you are. The last time we went to $50 just shy. The last time we went to $50 just shy. You haven't crossed 20 yet. You haven't crossed 20 yet, and there are marginal silver mines that are deeply leveraged to the silver rate that will probably do 10 and 20x's still from current levels, potentially. That is how early it is. And if you think we're only going to what we did before, then you think they've only created the same amount of money as they created in 2007 and 8. And I'm here to tell you that it's already larger. It's already larger in the single opening flurry by a multiple. They went straight to the T's, the trillions. QE was in hundreds of billions in 2007 and 8. What a trivial number nowadays. Everything's in trillions. Have you noticed now? Market caps for fangs that are harvesting your data, hitting new highs. NASDAQ. I will not participate in that one with near the same amount of zeal as I will with this one. Because when this one gets going, let me tell you, it's going to leave everything, including Amazon, Netflix, and Tesla, in the dust, I'm afraid. There's many a fluffy little narrative in that Tesla story. But yes, we called it. It was technical, 1400. It overshot. But I wouldn't be a buyer there. I'll buy silver right where it is, still right now. Cash in. That's it, chaps. Keep your money ready and be investing in gold and silver every single month. You keep just enough to live and a little bit of emergency money, and you're going to be doing just fine. Never boring, Sniper. Those updates were golden, says Asito Rusko. Thank you, Asito. St. Gaulis, we know, no problem. Never bored looking at charts. The process itself in its own reward. Indeed, you have the right attitude, you will go far. We are the remnants. Silver with sunglasses, he says. Yes, our future is bright. I should be wearing shades. Instead, I wore a silver fedora. You'll have to forgive me. The shades are downstairs. The other pair's in the car. It is summer season in Sniperland. Summer season in Sniperland. Get a little bit of sizzle on that steak with those silver. That heavy weighting in silver. Everything traditional market that I'm doing is silver heavy. And this is a great day. And it's a great day for many of our community members as well. I celebrate that even more so in the sense that it's just awesome when guys are making money. Thoughts on oil going forward? Commodities as a whole, oil is convex, so it's gone up, 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 and now it's tapping out. There's not that much travel going on. It's not near as interesting as silver. You know, it's kind of like we're at the dragster racing and you say, how about I put this bicycle here? In fact, it's a tricycle, and there's a 3-year-old that's going to have a little burn down the track next to the dragster with 790 bhp forced induction engine. And I'm going, yeah, it might get down the track a little bit. But, you know, why not take a dragster? Take the dragster. Hit the high roads. Blast off for Mars. Beat Elon and his fake Photoshop nonsense to Mars and back again, all in a nanosecond. That is silver. And it's looking pucker, and it's got a lot of catch up. So what I was saying is gold's past that flat floor. Silver, if you go back to silver, it's only just really going, but it's going like it's it's like its pants on fire now. So if I get the silver chart up at the same time, that's floor, that sort of descending triangle floor, was kind of at the $27 mark. Gold has already passed that and is at one off the month high. So I am saying to you guys, there might be more of these streams with bigger, greener, longer candles, because the printers are in town. And that toolbox, it has one tool. They've got many different names for that tool because they need you to believe there's lots of tools in there. But there's just one tool. Fiat proliferation. That's the tool. Loan extensions, rate cuts, bank reserve reductions, quantitative easing, more money but not quantitative easing, repo liquidity provision but not quantitative easing. They're all names for the same thing, fiat proliferation. Fiat proliferation means silver mega moon pump. And Bitcoin, I hope, will come to the party, but it has been mercurial for now. And I do still think it may still have a down leg in it. Let's have a look at the mighty B. What saith he? The fact that it does so little on a weak dollar day is a little bit telling. Either it wakes up and starts kicking, but I actually think maybe the next leg could be down as well. I'm not sure on my Bitcoin friend. I feel on the bigger time frames, he owes us a down leg. He had a bit of a shooting star month last month, and he can't buy the bid. How can you not buy the bid in weak dollar season? How can you not buy the bid? And on the BTC Euro and the BTC GBP, which you guys all forget to look at, but you follow this channel and we regularly remind you, and you could have even better reminders in the community, but it's not looking near as good. So if you get that chart up, BTC against the GBP, it is not looking good. Pound is going to gain ground against the dollar. We are actually in a broadening megaphone. You will learn about megaphones and how we treat them and that context at the moment. We could bounce up to the halfway mark, but I think at some point we take a sell-off. At some point we take a sell-off. It was a little bit more bullish back end of last week, but this, you adjust your opinion as the facts change. Silver is running. Silver is running. Gold is firm and strong and moving up. The precious metal mines are absolutely pumping. Why is Bitcoin so quiet? And it hasn't answered that question. Let's have a look at the Bitcoin Euro. Hanging heavy, bit of a flagging. Pound, tapping on the floor at the moment. Tapping on the floor. Getting a bit of a descending triangle look on it. It's got to do something soon. Otherwise, it's going to let go of that 7,000 level on the pound. That's 7,500, I think it is. 7.2 it's at the moment. So 7,200. It's trying to stay above the 7,200 on the pound. On the euro, Bitcoin's trying to stay above the 8,000 euro. It's leaning hard on the 8,000 euro. Should be doing more. Bit of a descending triangle. But it could still squeeze up. It's a little bit ambiguous here. I'm not going to hang my hat too strongly on either direction, but bigger time frame, still feel the rest could come. What other questions do my good people of the community have for me on this, the great Silver Awakening Day?
You were there when the sniper introduced you to the Silver Awakening Day.
Yeah. You know, they always get those deep, manly voices when they have those,
last time on Dynasty.
You know, they get those macho readers in those serials. I love that. I've got to learn how to do that. You still see a leg down for ETH? Possibly. Depends if you're talking ETH against fiat or ETH against Bitcoin. It's kind of dribbling out. So ETH has been dribbling out against Bitcoin to the upside. I haven't looked at it today or yesterday. I'm still in Tezos. Still in Tezos. We had a great run with ADA and Chainlink. I'm still in Tezos. So I'm still in it. You got to be in it to win it. And if Bitcoin holds and doesn't do a spiller and turn into some form of thriller all the way from Manila and head south. If it doesn't do that and just ambles along sideways for a while longer, I think Tezos will start to get a little bit of action. GBP USD to the upside, D20. Upside HVF. Yeah, you could have been onto that one early in our community. The lads talking about it, the setups, the updates, the smart people. August calls or silver. So SPY, August calls. No, I'm not getting SPY. I'm not involved in SPY. I don't want a SPY. It's not the most interesting chart, and it's a bit ambiguous, and it could change if they start to make a printing announcement. I don't know when someone's going to say something stupid that's going to lead to printing. But I know if I'm net long silver, whenever they say it, it's just going to boost me. And now that we started, once you start that firecracker on silver, you don't put the fuse out. So it fizzles. It properly pumps. CoinHawk is joining us in the sniper circle shortly. He says Tezos hits target and he's coming straight on board. Keep your family safe. Don't fall for the Marxist movement funded by Soros, says Daniel O.J. I think he's onto a few points there. Jared Caravayal. Sprott Silver, safest to invest in electronic. He likes Sprotts. No problem with that. The man's been there for a while. He's a billionaire, from what I understand. And he also led, precious metals investments really early. And he's provided it. So, yep, we were looking at the ETFs today. There's SILV, there's SILJ, and there's a few others. Or you can just grab the equities. Remember that ETFs don't always perfectly track their basket. They usually lag a little bit. The smallest ones are sometimes cheaper and better, but then you pay for it in lack of liquidity. So bear these things in mind with the ETFs. They also bigger chance of an Enron type fraud, not having all the silver they should have. So I'm good with mines. Tesla still paying off, says someone. I haven't looked at Tesla today. We can do that for you. Tesla equity interest. Let's go have a little look. TSLA. Haven't seen how it's doing. It's got a lot of steam. Look, it's been positioned as a unicorn. It's never to be shorted. This is the problem that the likes of Stanley Druckenmiller, a massive mind and immensely capable person. But he did one thing that I wouldn't have done. He built long-term shorts on Tesla. He's a lot smarter than me in most other ways. But I know a control structure unicorn when I see one. And long-term shorting was not a good idea. And they were shorting at 180 and 200s and 300 levels. Today, it trades 1643, the highest ever. They're supposed to be having announcements, I think, earnings. Is it today or tomorrow? Estimated is a loss of 14 cents. So if he just fails to lose money at that rate, he'll probably go up. He's going to be the car maker in chief. Trust me, you'll be tracked every dot of the way. If you need delivering to the police force, you'll be locked in your car and driven there courtesy of Elon. And the cops will open the door with a special key and put the handcuffs straight on. I have no illusions about whose team he's on, I'm afraid. And if you're a control structure company doing their bidding and running the little space game with him like Bezos, you're going to be the equivalent of a pump coin. A pump coin, it's just an equity. Yep, it makes cars. They'll call it a battery company if they needed to get a higher rating later. Who knows? It's worth more than Toyota, and that's bizarre. But when you print all the money you need, don't fight the Rothschild's printing machine by shorting it. You'll just throw your hard-earned away. And there are times to go long it, and we called it, and it worked. And one great gentleman was honest enough to say he made over 100K, and he's in our community right now off doubling up. Cameron, well done to you, bud. Saw your tweets, and I hope you're getting settled in the sniper community nicely. Recent joiner off his Tesla largesse. So we're happy to make money any way we can, including if we have to hold our nose and buy a unicorn that is backed by the dark states. Bolsheviks' lives matter. Oh, yes, they do. You're not allowed to criticize them. Yep, let's have a look. Wow, nice. Theta. Someone's talking about Theta. No more criminals in digital state except rulers. Interesting comment. I'll keep my Porsche. A Porsche is good. I like Porsches. I'm actually 4x4s now. Dirty, dusty, off-grid, far-out locations. Tow your motorcycles. Go on. Ride in the dirt. Get lost. Leave your phone behind. Make sure they can't track you. Enjoy the final glowing embers of not being known as to where you are. Yep. Yeah, this man's got over 20,000 K in silver. Tell me when you get a couple of tons. I want to count silver under my control in tons. Then I tell you, you'll be doing just dandy. 10 tons of XAG, please. Takes a bit of storing. I'm the first to admit that. Yep. Francis, you're the best. Nobody is offering the macro information you offer for free. Appreciate you greatly. Pleasure. Chemo, Zabi. So much more on the other side. When you have made and you qualify, you'll come across the line. Feds' lives matter. Mike John. Jay Patel, physical bullion or silver miners? Good question. A little bit of both. I've got a mix. I think miners, if you want pops, I think miners. Small problem that if we go, this is the problem where they cheat you, like they cheated me on my HYG. That should have shut the bed to virtually zero. But anyway, no crying like a spoiled brat. One counterparty risk out there, guys. They just nationalize the goddamn mines. Too much money, too vital a resource to be private. And you get paid out token X Fed coin in compensation, and then subsequently it goes through the moon. Wouldn't surprise me. Government decree by force of a gun. It's not impossible. So mines are mines. Silver bullion ounces in your clutchy little mitts. That's okay. Couple of 5K bars to bang the drums with. Shuka, 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 the tube of coins. You've got yourself a whole rhythm section going there in the silver, boy. That's what you want. A little ting-a-ling-ling, ping that coin. I tell you what, I'll be playing tunes for you soon. First thing the UK did after World War II was nationalize the miners, says John Clark. Good and interesting point. Good and interesting point. And if you think this isn't going to be as big in scale as post World War II, even if we do not have big fat wars, which still remain likely and potentially probable, do not be surprised by mine nationalization. So you've got to be nimble. You've got to shoot and scoot. That means you've got to take off the table. You've got to keep crowding your wealth closer to you. Paper and law will mean nothing. Constitution's already proven to mean nothing. Black lives can be written in capitals, but white not. Why? The Associated Press answers, because whites are broad spectrum and don't really have a specific culture behind them. That's the comment. That's the new rules. One ethnicity has a culture and the other largely doesn't, and is whatever, who cares? That's the asymmetry of this world. There is no legitimacy. There is no justice. There is no fairness. There is no equality. There is just the agenda we will bring, and we will ram it down your throat. Too much power. Push back against the mask. Push back against these vaccines. Push back against everything. Put in a proper squirm. Make them hate you. Support the stores that say, we will not be enforcing a mask policy. Lidl of Germany, in the UK, much of Europe, will not be enforcing a mask policy. Cheap and cheerful. Get in there if you feel like some cheap and cheerful food. What if bullion gets banned like gold was? Yes, it can and it will be. Hence why you should hold a lot of it with you. So when I get to a certain point, and I think we're getting into parabolic advance, I may sell out of my bullion vault, take the fiat and buy black market additional gold and silver. Look at everything. You've got to be able to carry wealth with you. Good value wristwatches that are collectible, $50,000 easy spent, $100,000 on a grand collectible wristwatch. Money that you can portable, which will have gold and silver in it. And gold is more portable than silver. But if you're sitting down, hunker down, make sure your hole's big enough, drop that silver in. At what price do we sell silver? Aha. Sell it when it hits 10 silver ounces to gold. It might go 5, but sell it when it hits 10. Start selling at 15. That's my bid. And you're at 91 now. So you got time. You got time. How's it, my China? Good to see you. Shaka Zulu. How's it, Shaka Zulu? Hoe gaan het saam met u? Although I should probably say Sabona. Dumela. James and I were thinking 20. Yeah, 20 is not a bad one. Look, we hit 30 on the last one. 20 is a fair bit further. You could start selling there. But I think this is a biggie. The worst thing is to have sold at 20 and to watch it triple further from when you've sold it. And it's still, 10 or 12x to the gold, because gold's going up, etc., and going for 5,000. Don't forget, if you see 5,000 on gold and silver hits 10, you're somewhere between $300 and $500 for silver. We haven't crossed 20 yet. Just saying. By the way, in case you think you're going to be rich, those dollars are going to be worth popcorn kernels. A loaf of bread will cost you $10. They will be peanut dollars. You'll need to think of dollars in the way you used to think of American cents when you were a child, if you were born in the States. No lives matter. Just look up at the stars. That should be all the proof you need. Yep. That's OJ, Daniel OJ, Lewis Hamilton, the puppet, makes me laugh. He's taking the knee while wearing UBS and other megacorps on his jacket. Oh, God, guys, the absolute hypocrisy of the likes of Lewis Hamilton and all these other guys. He was a child. He was absolutely pampered. So my property business had a nice little empire. With a partner, his sons, older than me, had sons, was racing karts with Lewis Hamilton. His son had to race Lewis Hamilton, who had a McLaren kart, where when he came with his privateer thing that his dad had bought them, McLaren would open up these huge trucks and there would be these suspended karts. That was what Lewis Hamilton was busy on. He was chosen early. He was given access. He had black privilege for his blackness, because he was obviously a minority, beyond anybody else. I think you have to have talent. You have to stick to it. And he's done all that. And you can't take that away from someone. He's with the money team, which is black, Mercedes. So, yeah, but no, he had from a child, he had first-class racing. His old man used to chat with my business partner. Yep. So this coronavirus, maybe it was all an attempt to see if it's possible to implement UBI worldwide. If it works, it works. Of course, there's so many. They kill many birds with one stone. It's a well-organized scam, this. Don't be fooled. I disrespect them immensely, but boy, they push a whole bunch of things too. They will kill cash. They will tag you. They will poison you and cap your lifespan. They will collect your DNA in all these tests. They take a mouth swab. They go put a flipping metal piece up your nose. They'll try put a hole in that layer between your brain and that thin skin and bone just there. That's the end of your sinuses. Who knows what they'll implant in there? They'll kill the SMEs. They're killing the Burgoys. So therefore, you all become UBI slaves, reliant on handouts. They'll keep printing the money. They'll stay in charge, and then they'll own everything. They tip the casino table over. and all the chips have skated down to their end. And we're fighting for survival. Sniper. We're one of the few that won't have to take their handouts and will say, I won't take your vaccine either, thank you very much. Because the minute you're on the UBI and you get comfy on government money and you're not working, it will be much harder to get started working again because you get used to being lazy. We've all been there where you actually get used to doing nothing. You don't feel happy. You're not really enjoying yourself, but you can't be asked to do anything. And you got a freebie ticket. Let me tell you, that's how they push good, honest, working, productive people into being welfare of state of welfare. Yes, that is how they do it. And then once they've got you hooked on the money, it's like a drug. If you don't want to take the cocaine, they'll give it to you. They'll slip it in your food until you just start to feel groovy. And then you realize you're hooked and that they did you and you can't come off because it feels freaking awful. To come clean again. That's what they're doing. And once they got you, then they can start saying, by the way, for your next UBI check, we need you here, 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 and your social score needs to be there to get the full 100% of it. Otherwise, you'll only get 70% because you tweet out nasty things criticizing government and you didn't have your vaccine, and it's going to go up to only 50% in the next month if you haven't had your vaccine by then. And here's the current available appointments. Man, we all own slaves. When the government closed the steelworks of Sheffield, that's right, that's South Yorkshire, John Clark, obviously of the UK side and of some knowledge of history. My father went to Sheffield University, John, did his engineering there. Some folk never worked again. They closed the steel mills in Sheffield. That was it. I think there was a lot. It's probably similar for the shipping industry in Newcastle, and coal miners in Wales, and many other places. Many just never got back. Became ward of state, grumpy, unhappy, TV couch potatoes, sick, unwell, unhealthy, and living off the yellow jaundiced boob of government, suckling from the sickly yellow teat. No, my friends, shun it. Shun the sickly yellow jaundiced teat of government. Be your own provider. Don't go to sleep on that thought. You might have nightmares. Oh dear, oh dear. No wonder the city is so messed, says Roscoe. Shun it. Opinion on real estate prices in rural Pacific Northwest of USA in 1 year. Francis Shaka Zulu is asking me on the Seattle, Portland, and New York markets. He's not talking New York, but I thought I'd throw it in. Boom! Portland to become like Chicago. Gun City, Murder City, Slum City, Detroit 2.0. Hello. Everywhere the socialists go, they reap destruction. The blue states of America, New York, forthcoming shithole. Escape from New York. I remember the movie. I watched it again recently for more, to have a look if there were any more clues in the programming. Now that I have a new worldview, because I saw it first when I was a young man in a boarding school in my teens. Snake with his tattoo. Yep, I think many people will be wanting to escape. It'll be those prisons. So the question was, how about those Northwest? So the cold, wet, grunge, Seattle, Oregon, heading north. States will do. Well, they're going to become Black Lives Matter territory. Chops and chazzes everywhere, my friend. And shunned policemen. And you know what? Cops are going to resign and going to go work in red states till you can't buy a policeman. They're eventually going to have to pay 150 grand to get a simple constable to show up and do what they talk, because they're going to make it unfashionable as all hell to be a cop. Who wants to stand at a shield and have people throw half bricks at you and potentially get a brick in your face, be yelled at by morons, be held up as this fist of oppression? No, have your slum. Have your slum without it. See how it pans out. See how long it takes for you to recreate Burundi a la America. Burundi a la America. Property prices to tank. New Yorkers are buying properties in Montana, creeks, lodges in Colorado, unseen on the web. Unseen. We haven't got time to beat it out there. 19 bids. The property spikes in the space and the land and the clean air of God's country, where you have a rifle and nobody dares come on your land and there's no density to justify a crowd of clowns to come and do a social protest outside your door. There would be nothing but a cow and a post for them to perform against. They need audience. They want attention. They want negative attention. They need cops to give them a justice, to be a victim. They need new victimhoods. They need to perpetuate the reality they've created in their mind. See this cop being rough with me. He's bending his arms behind my back. That's brutality. Yeah, well, maybe don't throw a brick at him. Don't flash a light at him. There was some guy was recording him with his phone like this in his face, and he just went like this, like I just did with my glass of water. Minus the water, thankfully. Yeah, I would too. I've had enough, but I just wouldn't be a cop. I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be an instrument of state. If you're a cop, don't be an instrument of state. Nobody loves you. Nobody appreciates you. Quit. Or go to at least a red state and then build up your silver and gold and then quit. Yeah, so China will become the biggest economy in year 2025. I don't know so much about that. I think there's just fake numbers and fakery out of China, but they had a good master to learn from as well. So it's who's the fakest of the lot. Now you can buy Bitcoin and somehow become free, and we have no idea who made Bitcoin. Well, I don't buy the Satoshi Nakamoto fairy tale, as you know. Can you stop? Yeah, I always stop. Thoughts on Cummins. Cummins, gentlemen, is a politician in the UK who went for a little ramble when he was supposed to be locked down. And everybody found out he was out rambling and visiting and doing various things. Because you see, the rules aren't for the politicians. It's for the slaves. It's very annoying when you watch the politicians and you catch them out and you highlight that the rules don't apply for them. It's very annoying. So comments on Cummins. Cummins is that man who was caught on the ramble. Yep, you'll never prove a virus to a jury of critical thinking, unbiased jurors. Francis, thoughts on UK London property market? I hate density, guys. Now's not a time for urban areas. Urban areas are the new slums. Urban areas are the protests, the riots, the grid downs, the mess, the graffiti, the slum. People are going to get unemployed. They're going to start paying UBI. They're going to print money. Inflation's going to get out of control. The amount of money they're going to give you is going to have to get less, or they're going to have to print more. And it's actually going to turn out to be not so much money. In 2 years' time, being paid $1,000 a month by government probably wouldn't keep you alive. 2,000, because gold will be 5,000, 10,000. Silver will be 1,000, and a loaf of bread will be $30. And your rent will be $5,000. Although property, don't be an investor in investment property. This is where I'm controversial. I love Robert Kiyosaki. In fact, I think I must ask him and try do a interview with him, but I wouldn't do the cash flow model. of property now. And in fact, if I listen to him, he's talking all about the PMs and Bitcoin. He isn't talking about blocks of flats. I almost said a flock of bats. You can have that as well, and they can hang upside down, a bit like the control structure, vampires and pests. But block of flats, guys are going to stop paying. The law is going to change. You won't be able to throw anyone out. It's going to be breakup of rule. This is Ayn Rand, guys. If you haven't read the book, just the complete fall down of society. You won't be able to enforce contract law. Everything will just be socialist and social. So you'll own these properties and they'll be worthless because you'll have people sitting in them you can't throw out. And they'll know that. And you'll know it. And there's nothing you can do. And you're going to wait until laws come back. Government will buy it off you for pittance. And you'll have the mortgage left to pay, the shortfall on the mortgage left to pay. And then government will change the law and make them all pay rent again. Or give it to their hedge fund, oligarchical, mega property for plebs corporation. Get the goyim off the land. Apart from a private home that you live in and you use yourself, investment property is not going to be a good game for me. That's my opinion. I felt that for a while. The laws and the rules will move against the landlord. They don't want you to have the rights. They don't want you to be the rental extractor. They want to be the rental extractor. They want everybody shaken out of their positions. That is my take on investment property. Commercial. Oh my God, killing the high street. That's why the urban areas are going to become slums. They're going to be converting commercial into resi to put peasants mile high. It'll be like Tokyo. You'll have a pod that you'll sleep in. The banks are selling their branch portfolios. Why? Because the game is up for banking and the branch banking network. The game is up for banking. They're selling that commercial property. Who's buying it? What business wants to go in? Everything is online now. You see, they introduced the internet revolution and you thought it was all over after the dot-com boom. Now it's got its cleats in the side of the horse. It's going forward. Amazon, buy from Amazon. Now you've got to wear a mask. They're going to enforce masks. So you want to wear a mask and go into a shop? Point, focus on me, webcam. Do you want to do that? Or you're just going to be so much easier to sit on your couch with your Wi-Fi and your laptop, order it and have it delivered to your door. That's what they want. Amazon.com. Buy from anybody else. Try reduce your Amazon expenditure and all that shitty packaging. Yeah, and go into stores that don't ask for masks. Be in a country where it's laid back. I don't wear a mask. I don't wear a mask anywhere. Even where they have signs, wearing a mask. Don't wear a mask. I keep one as an absolute emergency in the car. And if they look at me and say, you should have a mask, I go, otherwise I go. And they'd usually just go, ah. Don't get arrested for not having a mask. Don't be a martyr. Just leave. The EU. Yes, this is the Euro swan song, I think. This is a little bit of puff on the EU. End of this year, Britain leaves the EU. If they don't extend, if they don't cheat, if they don't sign some cockamamie deal that sees them have to pay billions to the EU so that the EU can sell stuff to Britain more than Britain sells stuff to them. If you don't get some insider Trojan like Blair that signs a real crap deal, we'll have to see. Go, Francis. I'm refinancing to buy silver and pay off my house with hyperinflated money. Absolutely. Have debt. They're going to destroy debt. If you've got mortgages, max them. Go long silver. Not financial advice. Yes, this is an entertainment channel, but debt will be devalued. Interest rates will be kept exceptionally low until the hyperinflation. If it comes to a hyperinflation, we'll probably get stagflation. I don't know if we'll get hyperinflation. Because I think the minute the rates start going up and they move even a little bit, people are going to be thrown out of their homes. So be careful with that one. Be careful with that one. But the silver investment will serve you very well. So you'll probably cover your mortgage and some. But there is still a risk to that because the interest rates could suddenly turn. Yeah, South Africa, Wayne Powell is saying, unnaturally strict on these lockdown things. I got fined $500 for, it was rands, but it was about 11,000 rand, which is about $500 at the time. But then again, I was riding my motorcycle around an 18-hole golf course, a nice empty 18-hole golf course, having a jolly. So there you go. Not on the greens, on that little go-kart bit. That's such a nice little path, winding up and down. Apparently, you're not supposed to do that. Oh dear, never mind. What's stagflation? So stagflation is, let's define stagflation for the 480 people. Thank you for coming on, by the way. We're talking about silver, the big moon, silver day. Today was silver, big moon. Share and like. No adverts on this channel. Thank you. So stagflation is when you have bad economic growth, which is what we're going to have because everybody realizes it's fake money. In real terms, it's going to be terrible economic growth. In fact, we're in an L-shaped recovery from 2007 and 8. We created all this fiat and it's just kept us on a flat level. And now that game's ending and we're going convex and spilling again. So we never had a proper recovery. They got the numbers to look the same because they devalued the dollar. They devalued the pound. They devalued the euro. They devalued the yen. Japanese doubled the amount of yen in circulation, you know. So, okay, we're back at X level on this, or your property's back at that. Everything got devalued. Everything got devalued. So stagflation is low growth and stubbornly high single-digit inflation. So it stays single-digit, but it's high. According to their stats. In actual fact, John Williams' stats, you probably already... Let's have a look. I haven't passed by John Williams' site, by the way. He calculates stats according to the 1982 Reagan era calculation, because you see they like to keep changing so that they're no longer comparable. John Williams Shadow Stats is the site. Shadow Stats. I found some other John Williams there. How much is John Williams worth? Everybody wants to know how much people are worth. Every time I type a name. Shadow Statistics, shadowstats.com. I'll tell you what the US inflation rate is currently. Let's get a little look-see. Inflation. So, shadow stats inflation, consumer inflation on 1990 based and 1980 based. So, on 1990 based, they're saying you're virtually at naught, and he has it at 4%. In 2009, you hit 8.5%, 9% on shadow stats' number, while they were telling you it was 4%. So, roughly is at least 2 or 3% higher on CPI from the official number you get to what you actually are. So he's got you at 4 and they've got you at naught. He's a full 4% higher on stats. Yeah. So, you know, you get lies, damn lies, and government statistics. And that's the reason why. Shadow stats. So what's going to happen is if you have 8s, 7s, 8s of inflation, but growth is 0.5, 1s, and 2s economic growth. So you're actually having real price contraction. All the people are making money. You're getting more actual money each year because there's some inflation and you're being paid more, but the buying power has gone down faster than the amount that's gone up. So actually you're living less well on higher money because you might be getting paid 3 or 4% more, but your buying power has gone down 8%. And that's compounding against you. The EU, well, you know, the EU deal, all of this, Barnier, haven't been checking and following the gossip on the EU and Brexit. The point is, I think we killed this one. They bought it and they dragged it out until the reset came. That's exactly what we predicted. I said they're going to drag this out until the Great Reset. In fact, I've got a reset sniper clip where I said reset's got to happen before the 31st of December 2020 that I said in 2017. And boom, there it is. This is reset, guys. It's happening. Many guys are asking, when's reset? As if there's one single moment. You will have periodic moments. You'll have the COVID moment, like you had the Lehman moment. You'll have this. There'll be many inflection points. But it started a long time ago and it's accelerating. And that's what we're celebrating right now. The collapse of the fakery and the pump of the silver. Because when the silver starts pumping, you don't put that little genie back in the can near as quick. It goes really, really fast, and gold is properly chugging up, and silver's got a bit of catch up to do, and it's going to do it. And MMT is part of this Bolshevik fake theory made for the moment. Modern monetary theory is just a fake Bolshevik concept to justify proliferation of fiat. That's all it is. That's all it is. There's nothing sound about proliferation, guys. Modern monetary theory is there's no end to proliferation. You own the money, you can print as much as you like. Well, good luck with that one. It should just simply not pass the standard stink test alone for common logic. But somehow we forego all common logic and we take trust because there's a professor from Harvard or Chicago University or Yale that says, no, we have lots, as we are the controller of the money. Modern monetary theory allows we should do UBI, we can do this, we can expand. Britain during the war had a huge deficit. I'll tell you some story. Let me tell you, you go past 90%, there's no coming back. Reinhardt and Rogoff. For every dollar in debt you raise, you only get 20 cents in growth. So you used to get a positive multiple when you were low leveraged. And as you get to the high leverage and you're in the 100% now, you get negative. For every dollar of debt you raise, you actually cause more concern. People go, this is fake as all hell. This ain't going to last. They don't go do productive things. They hide, they scurry, they hoard. Simple as that. It's gone too far. It's called a faith. Fiat means faith-based. Fiat money system. When the confidence goes, my friends, the system fails. It's a confidence trick to gain. As long as I'm passing you a stamp and telling you it's money and you're accepting it as money, it's fine. Until somebody who opens his eyes and says, but he's just given you a sticky stamp, and you go, shit, I don't just want that. Why am I accumulating all these stamps? I want real stuff. And the confidence goes, and everyone throws the stamps in the air and reaches for gold or Bitcoin or silver. That's when the fiat goes. These guys are printing stamps, man. They got, those books with just them, tear them off as you need. That's what fiat is becoming. It is becoming proliferation extraordinaire. It's only there because it's based on a faith system, and they're going to do it electronically now. We are looking at the failure. You are living it. This is economic case history. And the difference is, it's the globe, the whole world is a leper colony now. This isn't stuck to the concept of just, let me stand up. These chairs are hurting my backside. This isn't about just America in the Depression years, guys. This is the whole world is a debt Ponzi scheme. The whole world had to follow this game. The whole world is now. We all had to kiss the leper. We've all got to be COVID-19 now. We've all got to be HIV positive in this little shindig that they're putting us in on. We all got to be there. And that's what's happening. And I can tell you this much. You've never in the history of economic case history had a globalized, synchronized economic event which sees multitudes of different economic zones all be in exactly the same cycle. And now that cycle is going to be hyper debt. The biggest bubble is the creation of debt. The biggest bubble is the creation of debt, and the deflation of that bubble is the gold and silver going up. That's what happens. Gold and silver goes up because everybody recognizes it. And there's going to be some scary dips and spikes. It won't only always be perfectly straight up, but this is the biggest economic experiment ever perpetuated. And this is their grab for global synchronization. And you will then all fall under global remits That will have localized offices and localized control structures. But I'm afraid this is very NWO. Very indeed. Watermelon communism says the weather remnants. We are the remnants. Yeah. So that's where we are. That's where we are. And how do you come out of this with the most amount of tokens and the best quality of life? Silver, silver, silver. And in time again, Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. And silver miners. But for a while, but they will steal from us. The game is to take as much of the wealth, and the laws and the rules can all be bent. I said in a previous YouTube, and I say it with caution, the rules and the adherence to principles are no longer there. There's people amongst you right now that think you have a pension. You think you have a pension. You have a commitment from a government to pay. No one's got a pot with your money, Joe Schmo. There's all your pennies you've been contributing since you were 18 and chipping in, and we were taking that out of your salary for the last 40 years, and now you're 58. There is no pot, Joe Schmo, guys. There is no pot. A liability was accumulated according to the laws and the rules. And they're going to renege on those liabilities, and they're going to say, here's the counter offer we're giving you. Be a UBI slave. But and once you got your UBI instead of your pension, then they're going to start putting conditions on the UBI, because they couldn't put conditions on your pension because you'd contributed it and you were just plain owed that. They can't say, you kind of owed it, but we'll give you half. Well, they can. They'll probably try that too. But in terms of the contract you had, that was your money. UBI is their allocation to you as an allowance. So they're going to take away your money and give you an allowance according to good citizenry. And then they'll start to define what means good citizenry. And that's when you'll find out how they want you to dance for them for the free fiat that they're printing. I'm afraid that's the game. Let's have a look and have a peek at your comments. SRW Cricket, buy a little farm for you and daughters, farm chickens. Yeah. Say goodbye to retirement. WW3 as soon as part of depopulation. I do think it'll play a role. I don't know if they're going to try and knock spots out of the Chinese with us or the versus Americans. All I know is that it won't be Israelis fighting, but it'll probably be coordinated by Mossad, because they love a little bit of Holodomor, sacrifice of others for their greater cause. And that I can say. What will happen to pensions? They'll be reconstructed, rolled up as government assets, and you will sign a new decree where you get what sounds pretty generous to start. UBI. Listen, the pensions, they're a problem, but government and state's going to save you. By the way, you'll get this, and then they'll just devalue the money so that what you thought was good slowly gets worse. So they bleed the bad news to you slowly. You see, initially you have to think it's a good deal. And then you find out that it's being escalated at 1% a year, and they create inflation of 9 or 10. And they've got you on a minus 9% decompounder, so that within 10 years, what you thought was a good stipend for a reasonable old man's existence now barely pays for your box of fags and a loaf of bread. Simple. That's what they do. They're thieves. Thieves, running a shell game. Many, many years of experience. Acts 7-6 is where we are at in the scripture, says Daniel OJ. There you go. Go check your scriptures. 2025 is more likely to see grand solar minimum. Monetary theory fraud war. Yes, plenty of that, June. Right inflation. They'll fund their pensions. Inflation is the problem. Do you think governments will confiscate silver? They may request for it and offer, like buying people's guns back. I think because more people are more woke and more suspicious of government, there will be a lot of holdouts. So they would have to go very high force. So I think there'll come a point where they need it. They might nationalize mines, which is my little bit of concern of stocks. So here's what happens when we go into the gray area, guys, where they're going to cheat, lie, and take things off you. Nationalize your shares in silver companies, do stuff like that. Here's what typically happens. They know they're cheating and they're stealing for you. 90% of the law is possession. Possession is 90% of the law. As we get deeper into the clause of this, you have to have more and more direct control over that which you hold. Physically, it needs to get closer to you, under your control, and off grid. In other words, not on a clipboard named and held at some known vault or other. That's what you've got to do. And that's why equities now, but when they get too high, they won't. They probably won't mind you making the money on Amazon going to the moon as their one world oligarchical company, because they're all sitting in that. In some ways, the unicorns are actually probably the safest because they are all balls deep themselves there. If it became a problem for Apple to get supply of silver, government will nationalize for Apple, because Apple gets their data of you, your data, so that they can steal it and manage you and check how the DNA is responding that they took from you on your COVID test, and see how those microchips respond to a little impulse that they injected in you when you took your vaccine, and all these other things that might happen that I know not so much about, but I'm guessing. If a private company owned most of world telecom, would they use the intel for private gains? Well, that's an obvious one for me, Borge. I think it's an obvious one. I think it's happening. The fact that they have so much power over our privacy right now is the reason why I think we're facing so much. So remember, guys, if you want to join our community, you can hit the link below, jump in, book a call. It's not for everyone. You can be an investor who just wants to make 4 decisions a year, or you can be an active trader. But you've got to want to run your own money and to come out better as a result of what's going down. And if that's for you, then it's worth having a chat. And it costs nothing to have a chat. And we have a 14-day money back on our big products. So it's, at the end of the day, if you don't want to be there, we don't want you there. Also, you can have a sniper shirt and a coffee mug. Could we fight a guerrilla war with 3 to 5% of the population? Yeah, the problem is you get into Terminator 2 type movies, because they're going to have drones and robots. And they're going to have all the kit and all the tech, thermal imaging and a lot of stuff. It's going to be literally, it's Terminator movie stuff. You know, you're talking about being underground, and it's pretty tough. It's the machines. And they have AI, and it gets smarter, and it's going to be pretty tough. Retreat, you know, I'm not going to cluster around any, I'm not trying to divide any ethnicity here. I want to say anyone who's here is awoke, smart, and wisdom is a universal thing. But I wouldn't mind a state free of socialists, free of people that want to riot, free of victims. Self-actualizing entrepreneur nation. And that's kind of one of the principles of Ayn Rand, where they go and form a different place. And you need government and you need land. And I certainly don't want to be a minority again, or fast becoming a minority in a homeland. And I think for white Europeans, someone's put a cross on our back. And that doesn't mean there's not horrible things happening to other ethnicities. If you're a free thinker and you're entrepreneurial and you don't grab the victim chair and you're not going to be easy manipulated, you're the kind of people we want. So you kind of need a test for that and a nation of those kind of people. But theoretically, how do you do that? And I reckon that growth of that economy, even with the dearth of technology and a new piece of land, would very quickly grow up like a Singapore and become high val. Bolsheviks has base man awakens. The Bolsheviks have. They make people unpopular. and then they create open season for justifiable race attacks and all sorts of things. It's very interesting that indigenous Europeans in Europe are currently, and America, are, must make way and must have unopen immigration. But, Japan and Israel, there's no demands there. So it's very interesting. Yet they're all funded by people that have Israeli ties. So I'm not a fan of that. Ayn Rand was a great thinker. We are the remnants spot on. So the gold, the big capture, I'm going to close this one out. The big key points, guys, was silver has really just started. If we see, let's say I'm conservative, it only just goes past 30, 25 times. It's at 90 at the moment. It's not yet at 90, the gold-silver ratio. So gold goes, and we've got an HVF that's got to finish, and I think it will still potentially overperform to that against euro and pound. I can see 5,000, 10,000 with the next releases. All they're going to do is print. That's all they can do. That's their game. So each announcement of printing will pump precious even more. And if you get even if you get a 2,000, I mean, we were already 2,000 last time. It's no way it should be so low. But if you've got 2,000 and you drop to 20 or 25, say 25, gold-silver ratio, where's that leave your silver? 2,000 divide 25. For every 100, that's 4. So you take 2,000 divided by 100, that's 20, and times it by 4. It's $80 silver. $80 silver if we hit 25 and gold is at 2,000. That's nothing. 2,000, it's already there, gold. It's it's $150 away. That's 2008 levels, and they've pushed out trillions since. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's got to be 3, 4, 5, possibly 10. So that's big for silver. And if you look at those silver miners, it's going to be very, very big. But as I say, watch out the government. The government will spoil it in the same way they spoiled by HYG. It's the example. They just backstopped it. We won't let this go to zero. In fact, we're going to keep it right where it is. We'll be the buyer of last resort, no matter how shit the ETF is. You can have Boeing debt in there. You can have Hertz that's gone bust debt in there. We're backstopping it. They're literally buying 80 million, the one tranche of debt that Hertz took. They didn't even make the first payment on. And they went Chapter 11. I think they took about 80 million in November, December, and the first payment was due in Feb. Hadn't made it. They were already in arrears. They never made a single payment on it. We're backstopping that debt. We'll buy it. Well, they're not paying. You can buy it for 80 million. It's worth nothing. They're not going to pay. They don't have it. You can come and seize some shitty cars with high mileage on it and sell them secondhand. Compete with Tesla that have batteries and are cooler, apparently. Good luck. That's your comeback on your 80 million. Maybe you'll get 7 million in secondhand car sales. It's a bad deal. It's a bad deal. But they backstopped it. In the same way they backstop something they don't want to see go down, they'll take stuff from you that they think might go too high up. And that's the risk also with Bitcoin. They could say, listen, it's going to go illegal. We can't have you competing against FedCoin. Thanks for developing blockchain. We'll go from here. Could happen. Could happen. But maybe we go up a bit first. So you've always got to bleed out, and you've got to bring your wealth closer to home. With each stage, we go deeper into the reset. That doesn't mean sell all your equities. I'll keep some. They'll steal some from me. Somewhere, I've already resigned myself to the possibility, guys. Listen to me now. Hear this now. Here's a prediction for the future. They've already done me on the ETF on HYG by backstopping puts. But they will, that's neither here nor there. I'm not upset about it. I expect this. I'm expecting them, as if I start retreating from Bullion Vault at some time, they'll say, all these vaults, online vaults of gold, you're going to get paid out. You're going to have to take tokens or something or other at whatever level. Safety deposit boxes, I'm expecting that a run. some stuff. I can't not have anything anywhere in a safety deposit box. You've got to have diversity. They're going to steal some of your stuff. Without a doubt, they're going to steal some of your stuff. Just don't be a landlord with 10 properties and that's your hope for your pension. Because they'll have 10 tenants that don't pay, that are all Black Lives Matter or Antifa or something else. And they'll be their useful idiots. And the only salary they get is from Craigslist when they get paid for a couple of days of throwing stones at cops. And they won't make rent checks because they'll say you don't have to. And here's a free lawyer who'll work for you, paid by this funding group that has been provided special resources to do exactly this. So you'll have schmuck-faced lawyers that are paid by schmuck-faced Bolshevik funders to keep schmuck-faced citizens to live schmuck-free in your property and earning pocket money, throwing schmucky stones at cops and breaking down the infrastructure so that they can have a CBS newsreel of schmucks being savages and doing destructive things. And Bolshevism now, and these guys all want UBI. And the people have spoken. And it's a revolution. It's like the 60s. It's a revolution. It's time we heard what the new generation wants. Meanwhile, they've been spoon-fed, brainwashed, Marxistized, and schmuckified all the way from everything they eat, they do, they see, they wear. They've been told and had it explained to them, to the lawyer who comes and bails them every time some cop locks them up for swearing, biting, fighting, throwing, burning, tossing, tramping. I mean, it's boring news. I mean, I've seen enough of it. And it's actually permissioned, this Black Lives Matter, a lot of race violence. It's been intentionally destructive. That's what they want. So whatever your ethnicity here, don't get sucked into the race violence. Your enemy isn't a black man, and your enemy isn't a white man if you're a black man. And if you're an Indian, it's not a white man, it's not a black man. It's the control structure. Your government is farming you. All the governments are farming you. All your control structures are farming you. And they get useful idiots to wage war on other people that they want to create pressure on. Don't be part of a useful idiot brigade. So yes, be a racist landlord like Grandpa Trump. Yeah, he probably was a slumlord. In fact, the Rockefellers were slumlords in downtown Manhattan and got the permission to stick up the Twin Towers the first time. They cleared out and bought by compulsion, compulsory purchase orders, cleared out a lot of ethnic communities and poor whites out of the lower end of Manhattan before they stuck up the Twin Towers and created the New York docks and harbors land, which they donated to the UN, put up the Twin Towers, and then they brought them down themselves. So, yeah, they just squeezed them out. All in the name of law, you understand. The law. Yeah. The law is look after yourself now. This is what I was starting to say, and then I stopped a bit short. We're going into a gray area. Compliance and complete obedience to law. If the law is perverse, do what is necessary to look after your family and your people and your friends. Don't let law and must wear a mask stop you from doing the logical, moral, correct things for the people that are near and dear to you, providing you're not actively hurting another individual. I have no qualms about hurting a corporation, an oligarchical corporation given license to extract, cause pain, special privilege to be the hedge fund slumlord of note or anything else. So we may have to all get familiar with the gray web, the dark web, the black market for getting things. Because believe you me, when the price fixing will come. Here another message from me right now, prediction. I mean, I've got tons of predictions for you. If you want me to talk predictions, price fixing will come. The socialist Marxist Bolsheviks know how this works, and then there will be a black market, and they'll probably own the black market, and you'll pay 10x for anything in the black market, and this price fix market will be manipulated, and there'll never be stock. Price fixing will come. Rent fixing will come. If you're a landlord, you're going to face very low rent fixes. New York's had that before. That's not new. You're going to get it in London. Question asked, what about London? You're going to get rent fixes in London. They want to keep the sheep in the city areas. They want you to be there where they can have all their density of 5G aerials and they can have their Black Lives Matter and there's plenty of people paying attention and being shocked, hurt, and awed and seeing the peanut gallery show. They don't want you in a sprawling 30-hectare Colorado estate with trees and fresh air. They don't want you there. They can't harangue you near as much. Your nearest 5G tower is too far. You're not letting them put it on your land. They want you high rise, high density, and poor and on their UBI welfare. So parent controls coming, price controls for certain things coming. That's when you go turbo hyperinflationary in reality, because what ends up happening is the supply stops coming in to the price control and goes through a black market. Be early to black markets, guys, and seek to control it. Seriously. And the web is there for your taking. And don't fear the laws because they're going to be unenforceable. There's going to be so many people that will be getting what they need. It's going to be like bootlegging in America during Prohibition. You know, you've got to do what you need to do to get what you need to get. And I'm not here on this channel going to tell you to do anything illegal. I'm just going to say, I think the rules and the laws will change. I think price fixing is going to come in. I think a whole bunch of things. And at the end of the day, you must serve those that you're designed to serve. And state is not it. State must be very low because they are here to steal from you. They are here to steal from you. Absolutely. And don't have a life of hardship due to perpetual compliance and being ripped off and stolen from. That means you're a patsy and a cock. Don't be a patsy. Don't be some state's patsy because they'll keep coming back to rape you. Be nimble. Be the guy that is fruit flying around. Can't quite put your finger on him. Be nimble, be smart. They want to extract, and they will also want to poison. Okay, it's good checking in with you guys. By the way, the links below, free mini-series. You've got no money, go learn a little bit for nothing on us. We don't hassle you. We don't sell your email address. You don't need to give a spam address. In fact, I'm still thinking of my newsletter that I'll send out to you this month, one a month. That's it. Nothing, not even weekly. So we respect people's emails address. Book in if it's out your kind of community. If you would have liked to have been with us when we were emphasizing XAG really early and we're putting on trades on XAG and we were investing in silver and we were accumulating it, you could be sitting very strong. Lots of plus signs on these other screens here for me on all portfolios. Isn't anything that's down. Isn't anything that's down. It's not because I'm brilliant or a genius. It's just we saw something coming for a long time. It's in the macro. We see the patterns, and we've been placing these trades for a long time. And these screens will stay green for a long time, not because I'm awesome, not because I'm, anything to do with me. It's because this is a structural, systemic change, and we've positioned for it. There's other people in our community that are sitting with silver bullion ounces, that are still sitting with Fresnillo, that are sitting with First Majestic, that are sitting with Pacific American silver mines, sitting with Wheaton silver mines, sitting with gold bullion, sitting with silver coins, sitting with everything that they should be sitting with. And we will be back on crypto. We are watching crypto. Just a little bit skittish about Bitcoin, half a sense that it should be doing more and that it might move down. We'll stay close to it. If my community will get the updates first, it's their privilege and right as people that are coming, learning to know the best of what I'm thinking. I talk like this to them every day, not for this long. We do regular jump shares. We share charts. There's a lot of conversation in there. If it's something for you, you can book it. But otherwise, thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming on. There was a better part of 500 of you in there. We've chatted for an hour and a half. And we will watch. And I think there's more to come for silver, more to come in spite. It's hard to buy a chart which is going green, up, up. But let me just say, go up to the big time frames. If you're not buying deep, deep leverage and you've got uncommitted resources, you can buy and hold and you can watch that baby sing. And in a year and a half's time, you'll be so glad you did. If you're not 3 or 4x just on the bullion alone, I'd be shocked. In a couple of years. And I think just this week is going to be a very strong week because gold is set up to go higher. It's in a moving upside HVF and silver is going quicker than gold. it's going to keep going up. It makes it hard to buy something that's already running, but it's going to run further in my view. Okay, good night. I salute you. Thank you for coming on, and we'll catch you and we'll update you as this reset unwinds. And the big silver bull has commenced. We called the gold bull at 1326. And we are saying to you now, the silver bull is truly on the row. We call the silver bull with the turning of the gold-silver ratio. That was when it was still 119, by the way, which was higher than it was ever before. It went as high as 128. We said that's your blow-off out the top for a Type 2 rising wedge. You can learn about a Type 2 rising wedge on the link below. Go to Get Market Sniper, book a call, have a chat. Okay, good night. Thank you for coming on. We will speak again. All the best to you all. Play safe. Remember, it's education and entertainment. It's not financial advice. I'm not regulated. Good one, and we'll catch you all again soon. Thank you for coming on and sharing. We appreciate it. We really do. And grab yourself a t-shirt if you feel like it. And if not, just a like will do. Thank you. Bye for now.